Hello, Dr. Apollo here. So today we're gonna have another segment of our discussion. So this time we'll be we'll be embarking into the disciplinary procedure. So disciplinary procedure is a way to to communicate with the employee that certain action is not approved in the organization. Yeah, because organization have a what we call a limitation when it comes to what the employee is capable of doing or certain limits. So if they cross that line, then disciplinary procedure. So disciplinary procedure normally can be verbal, first offense, second offense, warning letter, third offense, 3 day suspension. It depends on the company. Fourth offense, 7 days. Fifth offense, 15 days. No? Sixth offense, 1 month. Seventh offense, termination. So they will given uh, a leeway of 3. So let's have this one. So the purpose of discipline procedure is to establish fair, consistent, and structured approach to managing employee. Now, there is always a penalty for always late, no? For always not complying to the procedures and misconduct also, no? Or performance issue. For example, negligence that resulted into burning. So the discipline procedure aims to correct behavior, ensure accountability, and that's why when you're accountable, you must be responsible. Otherwise, you will have a demerit. So uphold organizational standards and maintain productive and respectful focus. Yeah, because without without rules, so it's very hard to manage. So the main points, the key point here, the key uh, idea number one is establishing clear rules and expectation. So establishing clear rules and expectation is very important. So main point is the rules and standards must be communicated to all employee to prevent misunderstanding about acceptable behavior. Example, when you're working in a highly sensitive area, you must have your prevention apparel. For example, wearing of a ground strap, safety shoes, and then smocks to avoid the accident. So if employee is not wearing them, then they will be called. Why are not wearing? So that should be clear because of the danger. Actually, why there's a rules to avoid accident, to avoid losses. To prevent that, there's a rules so that employee will not do it intentionally. So validations, according to ACAS, a well-defined policy reduces ambiguity and sets the foundations for fair disciplinary action. If they know the penalty it was written and then they will given a copy and then they receive it, so they will read it carefully and not to do it. So it's like a law. So, for instance, an employee handbook outlines policy on punctuality, harassment, and workplace conduct. Now, for sexual harassment, it happens, no? Between boss and subordinate. The boss says, I will promote you if you uh, get laid with me. So, can you imagine that? So, that is a harassment. No? So, he didn't get laid. She didn't get laid. So, she didn't get promoted. So, you see? So it's a kind of harassment. Supply in HR department conduct orientation sessions and provide written codes of conduct to all staffs applications. Another key point here is informal resolutions. First, no? The main point is minor issues should be addressed informally before escalating to formal disciplinary action. Yeah, because if they escalated, then they will not be. It will become a deterrent. They will not be do it again. So, according to CIPD, research shows that early intervention and informal discussion often resolve issues and reduce need for formal procedure. Okay? So, announced prevention is better than cure. Is found better than cure. So, for instance, supervisor verbally warns an employee about lateness or tardy, allowing the individual to correct the behavior without official sanction because they've been told. Otherwise, if they do it again, so they will be sanctioned. So that's a deterrent. Supply managers are trained in conflict resolution and interpersonal communication. This is very important. So the one-on-one for early stage issues handling. Like during one-on-one, the boss will say, "What's your problem?" So, do you have any issue like this one? And then the manager will listen. And then the employee says, mention the problem. And then the boss says, why? And then explanation going on. And then what can we do about it? And then they agree, compromise. We work collaboratively and then solve the issue without escalating to the HR. Because once it reaches the HR, it's already been a it's already been severed. Yeah. So another area is a formal investigation and hearing. And the point here, peer investigation must be conducted so that it will be documented. If informal approach fail or if the issue is serious. The point here is if they are documented, then others will join to review and then will help to solve the problem, especially consultant. If they cannot solve by internal, then they go to external consultancy. So formal investigation and hearing. So according to ACAS, as our validation, employment law in many countries requires formal investigation to ensure formal procedural fairness and the result of that. It follows the laws of the land. Okay, so the investigation should be aligned with the existing penal code provisions. For instance, HR officer collects evidence and interview witnesses regarding allegations of misconduct. So now it's not to collect, but because there's already CCTV, that's more than evidence before any decision is made. Supply in companies implement standard operating procedure (SOP) for disciplinary hearings and documentation. So another subtopic appropriate in this disciplinary action subtopic is appropriate disciplinary action. What is appropriate? What's the normal? So the main point is sanction should be proportionate to the offense and consistently applied. For example, is the penalty the same as with person who blow out 10 computers or a person just late coming? Is the offense are the same? Obviously not. So it should be proportionate. So as our validation, according to Dessler, consistency in disciplinary reduces claims of discrimination and increases employee trust. So consistency means even if this boss will given the same offense. Yeah, even if it is lady or a man, things like that. Okay, for instance, first-time offense may result in a written warning, while repeated misconduct may lead to suspension or dismissal. But uh, there's a ladder, no, of offense and responding penalty. This apply in ensure maintain records of previous cases to ensure consistency and fairness in future disciplinary decision. So if there has been a report before and then repeat it again, so that's it. No? Apply the degree of penalty. Okay, so another subtopic is right to appeal. Yeah. In any disciplinary action, it is the aggrieved party to, if they feel aggrieved, so they have to appeal. Employee must be given the opportunity to appeal against disciplinary decision. Maybe sometimes the verdict is political, so that's the problem. So validation, the right to appeal supports principles of natural justice and legal compliance. Okay. So, for example, an employee submits a formal appeal after receiving disciplinary warning, prompting a review by a senior manager. Applied an organization includes appeal procedures in their employee manuals, informs staff of their rights. So, because there's some employment, everybody's following it without exception, no exceptions. Okay, the value of this uh, uh, discipline procedure is for employers ensures fairness, legal compliance, and consistency behavior management. This is very important. Behavior management. For employee, protects against arbitrary actions, provides clarity, and supports trust in organizational processes. For organization culture promotes accountability, reduces conflict, and enhances professionalism because they know what will happen if if they neglect, become negligent or error, failure to do the task, omission or commission of task. No? There is a penalty. Okay, we looked at this discussion from ACAS, CIPD, DESLA. Okay, and if you have some questions, so you can continue our discussion next meeting. Bye bye. Have a good day.